What's up, everybody? This is Jimmy with Trade Decoded. It is August 6th, 2024, 4:11 in the afternoon. The market is closed. Things were expensive today, although they seemed kind of cheap compared to yesterday's prices. About half price, actually. So it felt better in that respect. But I think a lot of people are expecting more to the downside, and that makes it difficult for people to play up on days like today, even though the market was pretty happy. I mean, we closed very green today. ADD started to make it very obvious pretty early in the day. It took a little bit of a turn south, and then it bounced off and really rocket shipped. ADD opened right around 300 or hovered around 300. I think maybe as high as 600 at one point, came down a little bit, and then we closed somewhere in the 1700 plus 1700 range. We were as high as 1900. So the market had a lot of money going into it, buying the dip, I guess. And if you don't know this, you're not a real trader. We got the ever so elusive thirsty brontosaurus pattern. I will show you that one in the end of this video. So just stick around and watch for that, okay? Winning trade 100% of the time. But with that said, let's go ahead and take a look at what we did. We did our pre-market charting session this morning with our community members, which was nice. We have a pretty wide pre-market range. Our put line scenario was going to be 519.19 to the downside, looking for a minimum of a move down to 518.43. Call side was going to be a breach. I was preferring a close above 520.29. with the potential for the blue 520.56. Now, it's crazy because this looks really close together and kind of is, but these candles, again, are big. That is like a 26-cent move. That I didn't play this one. And the space between these lines are relatively large. So these were good paying trades if you got in on the right ones. Now, Qs this morning were struggling very, very much to move lower. Okay, so puts were off the table for me because Qs hadn't gotten below this support level that they had made very evident in pre-market. Okay, so even though SPY breached the line, we wanted it to go, but I wasn't going until Qs broke their support. They never did. In fact, they ran up. They got through their first resistance up here and back into their pre-market range, which they got to the pre-market mid and rejected off. Between these double tops, these wicks on the top, this big red candle, I told everybody as this candle was printing, guys, if Qs can get through this 437.93 line, I'm good to go short, looking for hopefully the Qs down to at least this line, but preferably this line. Now, these dotted lines that you see right here, these are not levels of support and resistance. They are 50% retracement levels, meaning this was a support level that I charted this morning. This was a support level that I charted this morning. And if it's larger than $1 between the two, I find the 50% retracement between them. So it's just a halfway mark. Those work eerily well. It's a number that is useful. You should try it sometime. It's pretty wild how often it works. So naturally, we're waiting for ADD and anything else that we can see to tell us whether we're going up or down. Now, ADD was very aggressive only on the opening candle to the downside, and then it just was being bought up. And then we got really flat later in the day. But what we were looking for was a quick move. Now, you're looking at this saying, but Jimmy, you didn't cross the put line. Jimmy, you're on support. Guys, everything about this trade revolved completely around the Qs. Every part of it, the entry, the stop loss, the exit. Okay. Now I had an alert here on this line. I have a problem. When I put an alert on a line, I tend to hold on to those trades until I hit that alert. Oftentimes, if it doesn't get there, I end up holding and hoping. I'm very aware of this about myself, and that is why I try very much so to not lack the discipline to put in a stop loss when I feel like I'm doing something silly. Okay. Protect you from yourself. Well, Qs breached that line. We were in. Qs made it down to that line. Didn't get out because SPY hadn't gotten to where I wanted it to go yet. We got this nasty pullback on the Qs, which was very uncomfortable. But stop loss was, if we get back above that entry line, guys, I'm going to stop out for a loss. We didn't. It held as resistance, just like I would hope that it would. And then we legged down and got down to this level, which I did take because SPY was reaching its. Now that trade there wasn't a huge winner. It was only 16.7% win. And obviously I left a little bit of money on the table, but that was okay. It was uncomfortable there for a minute. But the Qs kept me in, the Qs got me in, and it worked out. And then we broke the downtrend. Okay, we broke this. And so it's not that you have to buy calls here, but we tell everybody, hey, puts are off the table. Well, once the structure of the reason you're taking puts is no longer the structure, we got to switch gears, right? Well, in this scenario, I wasn't going to buy. This was a huge green candle. I was not prepared to buy the call scenario. I missed it. We had a bunch of people play this line to line. We got through this line straight up to our next resistance, in which case, if you missed that, we said, guys, we just closed above resistance. Qs at the same time just closed above resistance. Now, I know you're thinking to yourself, Jimmy, but you're running right into another level of resistance. This is not really a level of resistance. This was support from pre-market. And look at what happened the last time we got to that line on the Qs. It blew right through it. So for me, the real resistance is right here. We talked about that. I'm hoping that the Qs can get up to 439.23. And if they get beyond that, we're looking for the pre-market midline. It did exactly both of those things. Okay, so that is the second trade that I took. And that was the last trade that I took for myself on the day. Okay, that was a 13% win. These are not big returns percentage-wise, but because of the position size, they pay well enough to pay my bills. Okay. Now that I'm done with my trades for the day, I look and take these trades or help people find these trades. We're pulling back during an uptrend to a level of support. Okay. At 10:01, you don't want to hold through a 10 o'clock candle. 10:01, we're still above the support line. Qs have this 50% retracement acting as support. I'm sorry, that's not the 10:01. It's right here on the Qs. I forgot to put my arrow there on the Qs chart. I'm trying to put the arrows on the Qs chart where they are on SPY so you guys could see it easier when we're going back and forth between charts. But at any rate, we pulled back to support during an uptrend. Okay? We never made an attempt to put in a lower high. We just pulled back to support. We got through the 10 o'clock candle. We're looking for at least a move back up to that day resistance, preferably higher. Okay, well, this was a 2-candle trade if you were going line to line, and that's a big trade. That's 521.60 to 522.71. That's $1. That's a full dollar move right there. That's crazy. That's a lot of money. All right. After that, we got into a little bit of a chop fest here. Again, these are big ranges. People are asking me, Jimmy, when would you buy calls? I said, well, now that we've put in a resistance. Oh, I missed another one on the Qs. 1037. Qs had a resistance on the chart. I said I wouldn't get into calls until we can get above that resistance. Okay. I'm going to put it here, but here's an even better entry. This double top right here. While we were chopping around, I said, listen, everything's turning green. ADD is pushing up hard. I'm not interested in puts, and I wouldn't jump into calls until we can get above at least this orange line, preferably above this double top. Qs for the first time closed above that at 1038. They closed above the orange line at 1037. Could have been your entry here. Could have been in your entry here. Either way, we just needed Qs to know that they had room to go from line to line or line, and line. That's why you'll see 3 exit potentials on SPY. Okay. You have 3 opportunities. You got in here because we broke and closed above resistance during a green day. The momentum was moving up. Q stayed above. SPY stayed above these resistances, turning them into supports. This is the first line up that the Qs hit. This is the second line, the pink line that the Qs hit. And then the Qs continued up, as did SPY. But this one's here because as we hold on to these trades, we also need to know where to get out in case the move is done going up. So for the people who held through the pink line or held through the orange line, I tell you, move your stops up. If we close back below 442.21 or 71, you're going to want to stop out of this trade. Okay? Well, that happens at 1051, which is why this is here. So if you got in all the way down here, you made a whole lot of money on this, even if you waited to get stopped out. Last trade suggestion we had for the day, because I don't trade after 12 o'clock and I'm trying to teach people to make their money in the morning so that they can enjoy the rest of their life. SPY puts in a lower high. Qs puts in a lower high. Qs can't get through the pink line yet. We're chopping around still, but developed a very strong resistance up here. And as I try to find and help out my counter trend traders, guys, if you are going to buy puts because you have a put bias or just because you want to take the risk and you like counter trend trading, buy it as close to 443.30 as you can. And what we're hoping for is a move down to at least the pink line, hopefully this line, but we were really wanting to get all the way down to this next level of support. Okay. Well, this is that entry point based on the Qs. It's resistance near SPY, it's resistance on Qs. You got down here at 11.11. That's when Qs was reaching their first level of support, the pink line rather. Okay. The next one down on the Qs brought you down to here at 11.15. C'est la vie. I mean, you could stay in this trade as long as you want, even if it's all the way down to this line at 11.28. SPY was all the way down here around that time. So nearing its next line down. Every time we close beyond these lines, simply move your stops down, tighten them up, put them at break even. I don't care what you do, just don't lose money, period. You get into a good trade. Now, this one took a couple minutes to play out, but it did. We were coming off lower highs. It was a strong resistance on the Qs. That's why we consider taking that trade. Now, on to the thirsty brontosaurus. Very bearish pattern, guys. I'm going to show it to you, okay? So later in the day, we have a nice long tail on the brontosaurus. We get to his hind end here, the hump, his front legs, his big old long neck, and he's thirsty. So he's taking a drink out of the pond. Now in this particular case, because he was so front heavy, he tipped into the pond and he kind of he drowned. He's DED dead. That's a serious pattern right there. If you ever see that, it's 100% win rate. You should take it. It's called the thirsty brontosaurus. Okay, just look out for it, and you'll be surprised how often it works. At any rate, guys, that's all I got for you today. I hope you got some useful information in this video. Look, another brontosaurus pattern is showing up. It's going to come down. It's going to come down to at least his feet, probably lower. Okay, just watch. You'll see. Tail, hind end, front legs, neck. It's coming down. It's come 100% win rate. Anyway, hope you found some useful information in this video. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. Like, join our Discord community. Well, we'd love to have you. There's a link down below. First week is completely free. And yeah, my goal is to try and teach you how to stop doing what doesn't work for you currently and maybe help you find ways to turn your trading around so that it can be fun and profitable for you. And that's pretty much it. So I hope you all had a fantastic day. Until tomorrow, I love you guys. See ya.